Have you ever thought about getting a second passport? In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can do it or give you the big picture on how you can get a second passport. My name is Darren Woodfork, and I'm an attorney here in Scottsdale, Arizona. On this channel, I talk about various legal issues that might be of interest to you or might be able to help you. And today I want to talk about something that's called citizenship by investment. And you may have never heard of that. I didn't hear about it probably until, 3 years ago. And basically, citizenship by investment is that you can invest money in a country, and that country will give you citizenship and allow you to get the country's passport. Not every country does it. I think it's about maybe a dozen or a couple dozen countries that offer this. But you make a $500,000 investment into the country. Most of the time it's like real estate. You buy real estate, and then after a year or so you can get citizenship, and then you can apply for their passport. And that's a way to get a second passport. Just Google it. Just Google citizenship by investment, and then you can kind of go down the rabbit hole of what it is if you're interested in it. And the reason why you might be interested in it is just because in 2020, America had the worst passport in the world because of the virus. We couldn't travel. We couldn't travel to any countries, whatever. They had a list of countries that could, go places, but America was always on the list of places you couldn't go because our numbers were so high back in 2020. And so then you kind of figured out what the value of having options are in the world. You have options of maneuverability. You can move around. You can just have choices. That's why you might want to have a second passport so that you can go places easier than, like I said, if you're in a situation where people don't like American passports, which is ironic because normally the American passport is the strongest passport in the world. It gets you almost anywhere if you're going overseas. And the reason why I say the strongest is that you don't have to get a visa. And that's kind of the key when people talk about strong and weak passports. If you have a strong passport, you get all these places visa free. If you have a weak passport, that means you're going to have to apply for a visa every time. And what a visa is essentially it's a permission slip to go into the country. And so if you want to go visit, say, Brazil, I think has a visa requirement, or Russia, or some place like that, you have to fill out, 20 pages of forms of, where you've worked, where you've traveled, a lot of information, and you have to send that off to the embassy, and then they'll look at it, and if they approve you, they'll send you back a visa, which is a permission slip. And so if you're a citizen of, say, another country, you may not have to do all that, and that's why you'd want a second passport. That second passport would allow you to travel to countries without getting a visa. Again, that's kind of one of the bigger benefits of having a second passport. With that said, and this has been around for a while. And again, I've done some research on this. One of my hobbies, I guess, is traveling, and so I've looked at some of the stuff. And I think it was like St. Kitts and Nevis is kind of one of the first countries that made this kind of popular, where you can invest in their country and then get citizenship after 6 months or after a year, and they'll give you a passport, and then you'll have that passport. But nowadays, currently, some really good countries are offering that. Turkey is a really big country that allows people to invest in and then get a citizenship. Latvia just started a program where I think you just have to invest like $300,000 and buy $300,000 worth of real estate. And then after a year, you can apply for Latvian citizenship and get their passport. And so, and that would just give you an option to a whole nother section of the world to travel to if you were to get that. Cyprus is a country that gives a citizenship by investment. It was a popular one for the last 15, 20 years because it gives you, if you get citizenship into Cyprus, you can get access to the European Union. And I think that's why it's so valuable getting citizenship or a passport from Cyprus. So anyway, so that's kind of what citizenship by investment is. If you're interested in this like international law stuff or international, maneuverability, just Google that term, citizenship by investment. And you can see kind of what it's about as far as getting a second passport. Again, there's a lot more detail to it, a lot more requirements, a lot more nuance to it, I should say. But it's just a topic that you just may never heard of, because like I said, I didn't hear about it until like 3 years ago. It's an option out there. As far as, like I said, getting a second passport, which would give you access to, different parts of the world. I mean, like I said, America, we're lucky because we can go most places without a visa, and we have pretty good access, except for back in 2020. But, for the rest of the world, they really want second citizenships because, like I said, if they have a bad passport, they get a new passport, and then they can have access to, the more parts of the world. So anyways, again, hope that was interesting to you as far as like international law goes. Again, I'm an attorney here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm only licensed to practice here in Scottsdale, but I thought that might be of interest to you. So if you liked the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. Thanks.